Folks, Donald Trump is infamous for many things, being a convicted felon, a failed and fraudulent businessman, an adjudicated sexual predator, but probably most notable of all, he is a notorious liar. The words that often escape his lips in soliloquies of spit are in essence not so dissimilar to the movements that escape his bloated bowels, in that they are all a load of crap. And today, I have a prime example of that for you and a brilliant takedown of Trump's incessant lies that really puts into perspective just how many untrue things he says. And before we get into it, I just want you to know that this is not a list of all of the cumulative things Diaper Don has lied about. That would be a saga longer than all the extended cuts of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Show us the meaning of haste.
But instead, this list is just from the lies he told at his Wisconsin rally yesterday. So keep that in mind and let it really sink in while we go through this.
Daniel, take it away.
He said there was world peace in 2020. There was very much not. He said he won Wisconsin in 2020. He lost.
Off to a great start already. And I promise I won't share clips for all of these, but this one is particularly ridiculous. So here is that moment from yesterday.
Do you remember in 2016 we won, and then we did much better here in 2020, but lots of things happened. And then in the end we won, but by that time it was a little late.
He said the Democrats rigged the 2020 election, a lie. He said people around President Biden cheat on elections. No. He said people's votes tend to disappear. They simply do not. He said 107,000 people attended his recent rally in New Jersey. That's at least tens of thousands too high. He said he saved Kenosha, Wisconsin in 2020 during rioting when the Democratic governor wouldn't act to intervene. In fact, that governor deployed the National Guard before Trump told him to. Trump said cocaine was found at the White House about a month ago. That was actually about 11 months ago.
And that one is also worth pausing on because not only is it a clear sign of Donald Trump either misremembering or losing track of his timeline of events, both further evidence of his cognitive decline, but on top of that, it comes at a time where he and right-wing media are continually attacking Joe Biden by saying he must be on drugs to perform well and he'll probably be jacked up at the debate. All the while, when Trump was in the Oval Office, reports claimed that the White House was a certified pill mill.
New public records that are just surfacing are showing that under Donald Trump, the White House medical unit was a pill mill. Thousands of Ambien, Provigel per month. Worse, a clinic that does not typically do procedures with moderate sedation. They sure do have at the White House a prodigious amount of morphine, fentanyl, versed, and ketamine. In 2018, the Department of Defense Office of Inspector General, the OIG hotline, received complaints alleging that a senior medical officer assigned to the White House medical unit was engaging in improper medical practices. It also is worth reflecting that everything that Donald Trump says is projection or confession. So when Donald Trump accuses President Biden of being on drugs, and that's how President Biden, he says, is able to do these speeches, or when MAGA goes wild when they learn that there was a small trace amount of cocaine found in the visitor center of the White House under Donald Trump was a pill mill.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
Yeah, that was 9 years ago, the infamous escalator speech. And while Trump was mostly lying there about people from Mexico bringing all of those things, it's funny how he actually brought all of those things to this country himself. The man is really batting 1,000 when it comes to bringing drugs, crime, and rape to this country.
He said it was hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine. It was a little bag, maybe generously in the hundreds of dollars worth. He said Biden orchestrated his New York criminal trial. Zero evidence of that. He said Biden was also behind all of his cases, including civil trials. faceless again. He said Biden wandered off at the G7 and didn't know where he was. No, Biden was briefly chatting with a skydiver who had landed near the group.
Yep, the cheap fake videos of Biden that Trump idiotically referred to as clean fakes.
Joe and his handlers are insisting he's sharper than ever, and they say the videos of Crooked Joe shuffling around are clean fakes. You know what a clean fake is?
Which, not a thing.
The White House is in an uproar, blasting what they say is a right-wing media attempt to make President Biden appear senile by manipulating and selectively editing video clips.
They do these cheap fakes. They're cheap fakes.
In this video widely circulated on social media from the D-Day commemorations in France, the president appears to wander off, lost and confused. But what you don't see is that he walked over to talk to a skydiver, giving him a thumbs up.
They just cut the film the way they want. It's falsely made to appear as though he's wandering off, as if he's senile.
He said he was indicted more than infamous Al Capone. No, Al Capone had more indictments than him. He said he was in Washington the other day for one of his trials. He was actually there for meetings with congressional Republicans. He said Nancy Pelosi turned down his offer of 10,000 soldiers on January 6th. She never got such an offer and would not have had the power to reject it even if she did. He said the January 6th committee deleted all records, just did not happen. He said he's the only president who didn't start a war. Jimmy Carter didn't start any wars. He said he finished the war in Syria, no, and got U.S. soldiers out. He actually left hundreds of troops there. He said Syria and Turkey have been fighting over their border for, quote, 2,000 years. That border, Abby, is less than a century old. He said insane asylums are being emptied by foreign countries to let people come to the U.S. as migrants. His own campaign cannot substantiate this claim. And he also said prisoners are coming in from jails in the Congo over the border. His campaign can't substantiate that either. He said President Obama cannot deport criminals to Latin American countries. Obama, in fact, could. He said Venezuela's crime is down 72% because of emigration to the U.S. Venezuela's violent deaths are actually down 25%, and that's for a variety of reasons. He said 17 or 18 million people have now entered illegally over the border. Experts say that's many millions too high.
Funny, many millions too high is also what experts say about Donald Trump's IQ score, which I'll remind you, in theory, really only goes up to about 200.
He said Biden's plans would quadruple your taxes. Total fiction. He said canceling Keystone XL, the pipeline, cost 48,000 jobs. That is wildly inflated. He said total inflation under President Biden is 40 or 50%. It's actually 19%.
Now, and as for Trump, basically it's Trump tripping over his own dick anytime he tries to capitalize on Biden's age. Like this weekend, Trump appeared at the Herbalife of political conventions, Turning Point USA, where Trump articulated his case for having best brainful neurons smart.
Joe Biden has no plan. He's got absolutely no plan. He doesn't even know what the word inflation means.
Oh, you didn't! No! Joe Biden's so dumb. He thinks inflation is a rise in the overall price level for goods and services in the economy as measured by the consumer price index over time.
He said before he took office, there was a $500 billion trade deficit with China. It has never been that high. And in fact, the record was set under Trump in 2018. He said no previous president has taken in even 10 cents in tariff money from China. It is Americans who pay those tariffs. And the U.S. has actually had such tariffs on China since the 1700s. And finally, he said we're in the worst crime wave in modern history. Crime has actually plummeted in 2023 and so far in 2024. Abby?
And it's only Tuesday.
What a brilliant way to end that segment and this video. Granted, it's Wednesday, but when you're covering Trump, every day feels like a manic Monday, don't it? Anyway, folks, happy Juneteenth. Hope you're celebrating and enjoying your Wednesday. And I hope you enjoyed today's edition of Did It Come Out of Trump's Mouth or Ass? Actually, it doesn't matter because they're the same thing. Thanks for watching, y'all. We appreciate all of you. Let YouTube know you want more of these videos by dropping a like and subscribing. And if you'd like some more exclusive content, head on over to our Patreon, where we'll be posting a new video tomorrow where Brooklyn Dad Defiant and I go through your comments and read and react to them. It is a blast and a great way to not only support the channel, but also have your voice heard and become a direct part of the conversation. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I'll see you all in the next one.